I'm going to try holding you with one hand because I don't have a setup right now. My nails are covered in charcoal because I already did this one. All right, you see I start with Vine charcoal, and I was actually making up this eye. It's not a real eye, I just made that up in my head. And I was using a kneaded eraser. You guys have kneaded erasers. I used a little brush to help smear some charcoal in. Compressed charcoal, Vine charcoal. Okay, and this is going to help push the charcoal into the tooth of the paper a little bit more. This is like a regular drawing paper. I think it's like an all-purpose type of thing going on here. All right, so I'm going to start. I'm going to turn my camera the right way. You guys are going to hate me at this point. All right, and I'm going to actually just start here. And I'm going to draw across. I'm trying to follow this down a little bit. And I'm kind of really looking at the shape of the person's eye. I'm looking at curves down, comes in, curves out here, then kind of comes in right here. It has this round separation, kind of not round, but roundish. It's kind of, and then it goes up a little bit right here. And the thing with the Vine charcoal, it erases very cleanly. So that's why I start with that. I only have to use an eraser right away. You know, and I could kind of, you know, figure out the shape. And again, you can start with a, you know, pencil if you wanted to. This is how I would start it. I'm just kind of trying to figure out the shape, figure out, you know, the size of this person's, how's, you know, their eyelids. Everybody's going to be completely different. Even my eyes are different. Both of my eyes are completely different. They're not even the same on each side of my head. So kind of eyeballing, it's funny kind of eyeballing it in, huh? All right, so this is like a eyebrow. This person's got a thicker eyebrow, and it's a thinner on this end hairs, and then as it goes inward it gets a little bit thicker, and then starts thinning out again. Some people have very shaped eyebrows. Some people shape their eyebrows, right? So I'm going to end up taking out some of that. It's a little too thick. And throw in where the shadows would be. Inner part of the eye here. I'm going to try to look at the negative space from here to here when I'm looking at the person's eye. I'm going to see how much space is here to here. You know, I'm really, really looking. See, this is a little skinnier, so let me make that a little bit bigger. Actually a little bigger on that side. So anyway, this is what's going to happen is this whole area in here has got to get shaded in anyway, because you're not going to have pure white right in there. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to put my lighter whites in there. I'm going to go back in with my compressed charcoal now. All right, and with my compressed charcoal, I'm going to make sure, kind of come in here, and I can still erase it just to let you know. So I can make some darker areas, but you don't want to go too dark too fast because it's a pain to erase, especially if I'm trying to hold the camera, right? So then I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of shading in here because I'm going to spread that around. I can use my brush that's dry. It's a dry brush to help spread stuff around and around and here. Start coloring, you know, shading in areas. All right, and I'm going to go and make sure I put eyelashes and stuff, but I'm holding my phone right now to do this video. So it might be a little shaky with one hand as I'm drawing with the other. So I'm going to kind of get some stuff up in there, smooth all this out. And I'm going to go back and forth between dark and light. I'm going to go in with my eraser and get some tones in there. All right. So Where's my kneaded eraser? All right, I also have my this plastic eraser, Mars plastic eraser, but I'm not going to use this for this drawing. So you can see I'm taking my kneaded eraser apart. This one will always be dedicated to charcoal, so I'd recommend getting yourself a little plastic baggie so it doesn't contaminate all your art tools. All right. And I'm kind of self-cleaning, so I'm kind of messing it into it, like mushing it into itself over here. And I'm going to kind of try to put some highlights in back in here. I'm going to go back in and get some white areas too. But you get the idea of what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and add more shadows and add and subtract, and then I'll, play back a little bit towards the end of what I'm doing. All right, here's a little bit more of what I drew, and it's very hard to hold the camera and draw at the same time. I'm gonna have to come up with a better setup at some point if I'm gonna continue doing drawing classes online. But this is what I've got for now, Renee. This is my cell phone. I am gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put some eyelashes in. I keep pulling back and forth. It is 100% okay to actually leave graininess on it. You don't have to have a drawing smoothly rendered. You can up close have a graininess on it. You see how up there I didn't blend everything smooth? And I'm not going to blend everything smooth. I am going to leave some of the actual charcoal marks on the paper, and from afar your eyes will blend it. And if it doesn't, it still looks pretty neat, right? So I'm getting there. I have a lot more lighter areas to hit, and I'm really concentrating on really watching just the eye. So for one of the exercises, I'm going to want you to do just an eye. So this way you don't feel like you do everything, and you can really concentrate on looking at the shape of someone's eye. Pick one, go on the internet, pick an eye and zoom way in on it on your computer or your cell phone, and then just go for it. Start drawing. And this is an additive method. I'm not doing a subtractive method. Subtractive method, I'd cover the entire paper. And then I start subtracting away using this white eraser, my Mars plastic eraser, which I have not used at all on this. So there's going to be almost no pure white on this. I could go back in through some pure white, but I'm probably not going to. Again, this is just the eye, just like that one was, okay? So this is just the eye, just like that one was up there, and down here. All right, so this is where I'm at now, and I just keep pulling back and forth with the eye. I'm really looking at the person's eye, and this is taking me a while. That's no joke. I'm going in with tiny little itsy bitsy things inside of this eraser. I got to scroll down to it's like a tiny little thing, and I'll just be like dabbing it, making sure I get some. This person's eye is actually a very light colored eye, so you always work with darker colored eyes. And again, your highlights are going to be a little bit more organic, depending on where the person is, what you see in that person's eyes. It depends on what picture you picked, right? So you want to, sometimes you'll even have a highlight where you don't even see, like, this part of their eye might not be this dark. And you come back in, you can, do something like that, where you lighten up just one section of that eye. There might be light there, I don't know. For me, I liked it darker, so I'm going to go back in. Spread some darkness back in there, and then I'm going to go back with the light. I was just giving you examples of how easy it is. It's a push and pull. That's all this is, the game of pushing and pulling, and adding in little tiny highlights and then going back in, rubbing in it if you don't like, and I'm keeping a nice graininess to it. In some of the areas you can see my charcoal lines. So I hope that this helps out a little bit.